Hi there, my name is Kaili Wells. I'm going to be talking about therapy dogs for my informative speech. We've all heard the saying, a dog is a man's best friend. Well, it kind of translates into the whole therapy dog thing, which obviously doesn't have to be a dog. It can be another kind of animal, but dogs are really popular for therapy animals, so I figured I'd talk about them. So what a therapy dog is exactly is it's a dog used for comforting those that need it with, showing them love, affection, just giving them that happiness they need to get through kind of thing. They're used all over hospitals, nursing homes, schools, some work settings. It just kind of depends. They're really helpful for relieving stress. Like PTSD would be a really big one. A lot of with all the soldiers that kind of come back and need that support from someone. It's not really a breed issue if you can be a therapy dog or if it can be a therapy dog or not. It's more of a if they're tolerant, patient, social, obedient, and listen really well and stuff. Some of the main things they have to hit on. They have to be tolerant of different people. They have to be tolerant of children because children play with dogs and other animals a little rougher than they probably should. So the dog has to be able to react to that in a positive way and not harm the child or react in a way that's going to excite everyone and kind of put everyone's anxiety up rather than lowering it how it's supposed to. Another thing is they need to work well with equipment, wheelchairs, crutches, walkers, oxygen tanks. You don't want a dog that's going to chew on an oxygen tank just because it wants to, or a dog that's going to walk in between crutches or try and walk in front of someone in a wheelchair rather than beside. You want them to work with the equipment and not, make it harder. Loud noises. A lot of dogs respond to loud noises in a panicked sense. They just kind of freak out in an essence. You want a dog that can stay calm and collected through that and be able to adapt to any noise changes or like environmental changes like that. As well as that, they need to be able to act in that same like tranquility as when there's a dog in the room or another animal like a cat. Like dogs don't usually like cats. So you want that dog to act the same with a cat in the room as they would if the cat wasn't in the room and not freak out and cause that chaos that is usually caused when the cat's in the room. Therapy dogs have a lot of benefits. There's a lot of mental benefits like, decrease of the loneliness, that lonely feel, depression, stress. Like with the soldiers that come back, like a lot of times certain sounds or things will get them, get their blood pressure going, just kind of have them have an episode of some sort. Well, these therapy dogs can feel that and they react as needed and calm them down and get them in like a calmed heart rate state, and that's really helpful to keep them in that. In regards to that as well, there are some people with mental illnesses that cause them to either like self-harm, harm others when they get to a certain point and they have their sort of episode, and these dogs also can feel that and they will react accordingly to calm them down. Instead of maybe someone harming themselves, they're petting the dog and getting into that more calmed, just like plateaued feel for everything, and like that's another positive. And along with that, it's like it raises up the self-esteem. It helps people feel socially acceptable so they're able to go throughout all of this in a positive way. Because the self-esteem and the confidence that comes along with a dog, like giving them that love and everything, is a really positive factor with it. There are also some physical benefits, decreased heart rate, decreased blood pressure. It lowers just those stress hormones completely to where people are like, calm, happy, just at that like mellowed out state of mind, and that causes for things to increase physically, like balance, motor skills, other physical skills. Someone who maybe has a physical disability, involves like all that strength, and it's like that little push a dog gives of happiness and comfort and loved and all that, and a non-judged feel, pushes them to do that extra mile they need to do, that little bit they need to do to get over that hump and just to push through a lot of things. More specifically on settings of places where these dogs would be is hospitals, before surgeries, after surgeries, just to comfort. Maybe if they're waiting for a diagnosis of some sort, the dog's going to help with that and keep them calm so maybe they can focus on the dog rather than on what the prognosis is going to be. Nursing homes, a lot of times the families aren't right there, or they can't be there because of extracurriculars with kids, work schedules, you know, like them just having a daily life going on, and having these dogs come in every day, every week, you know, them having their own therapy dog, like that's giving them that love and affection they need that their families can't give them at that time, just because of, you know, the daily life struggle that people have. So having them in nursing homes is really helpful to take out that loneliness factor and keep them feeling loved and everything like that, and not forgotten, because sometimes people just can't give all the affection they need to give to somebody, so it's nice to have an animal come in and do that for someone as well. Schools, middle schools, high schools, elementary schools, a lot of time will have teachers that have therapy dogs, just so the kids can utilize that throughout the day of throughout the year and everything. A lot of colleges and universities and everything will have times during the year, the semester, or especially around finals time, where a bunch of dogs will come in, and these students and can just go in there and kind of just play around and just forget about finals and relax and just have that happy outlook on everything for that time being. So I mean, that's always a nice thing to have as well. A program I just actually learned about was a Read to a Dog program, where kids can go in and they'll read to a dog rather than reading to other students, you know, kind of gets them away from feeling judged and everything, because the dog doesn't judge, and they can just read to this dog and feel comfortable, and it boosts their confidence, raises their reading level, like it just improves them in so many ways. Along with therapy dogs, there are rules and regulations though. It's different depending on the organization, but a lot of places have these general rules, like the no compensation. They don't want you to be paid, at least for a little while, just to kind of get used to it, and kind of like on the volunteer aspect of things. There is a minimum age for you and your dog. For you, it's usually around 18. They don't want to put you in a situation you're not going to be comfortable, like a kid's not going to be comfortable in. It really does depend for the dogs though, because a lot of times with those college things, it's puppies they bring in. So it's really just having puppies that listen, or sometimes, you know, older dogs when we don't need any type of physical like excitement level that puppies bring and kind of bring the happiness. Sometimes we just need a really tranquil older dog to come in and do stuff for them. They are usually required to be spayed and neutered for various reasons. Bathed before they come in, which makes sense because you should probably be bathed when you go somewhere too. And no, there's usually a maximum leash length you can have for the dogs. The dogs don't necessarily have to be trained though, as long as they're obedient and listen to you, tolerant of like kids, like I said before, and then they're social. You want to make sure that they work well with any demographic, you know, different races, different languages, kids. You just want to make sure they have that, because you don't want to come in because you don't know who you're working with and then have your dog treat a certain race differently or be too rough with a kid, something like that. Your dog does have to go through an evaluation process, usually just requires them being put in with another dog and other people just to see how they respond and everything. And sometimes you're also evaluated in certain settings, but the dog for sure always is. Like, dogs in general have a positive effect on a lot of people. I know my dogs have a positive effect on me, and they're not therapy dogs. Obviously, I would love for them to be, because them having the opportunity to help others and just would give me that sense of like, just that give me that happiness and like getting them a sense of belonging other places than just with me. So I mean, I found all the research I did on this really interesting, and learning about school programs and stuff like that, and it's just a really good deal to have.